What's up, No Nation? It's the guys from Plant the Spear. I'm Jesse. That's Michael. And today we're rolling out a new show, a new segment here on the channel where we're going to go back and look at some film. We're going to call this the Spear Review. It's just a kind of a name I came up with for an article series a couple years ago. So we're going to shake the dust off of that and do this. This is our very first one. So I will tell you guys, it's just going to be some clips today. We're not going to go through the entire film watch, the entire game. That is something that hopefully maybe we can do in the future. Michael just discovered how to get the all 22 copy, which, as you guys know, is huge to be able to look at the whole field and see everything going on. So we're going to kind of learn on the fly here with you guys. We've done a test run here, so we're going to see how it goes. But man, just excited to dig into this film. You know, one thing that we had talked about off air is how you already felt pretty good about what you saw against, Florida State against Alabama. But when you go back and watch the film, it actually makes you a lot more excited because you can really get a grasp on the physicality that they brought, the depth, the players that they used in this game, and a lot of the corrections that can be made that are very simple to be corrected, right? It's not like you got out physical. It's not like you didn't have a talent, the massive talent disparity or something like that. So a lot of exciting stuff on the film here. And man, just really excited to dig into it with this new segment. I know we're late for the Bama game, but again, we had to figure a lot of things out on the fly. We weren't planning on doing this. So hopefully this is something you guys enjoy. And let us know in the comments if this is something you like, and we'll definitely dig into this with as much of the film as we can get. So, Michael, excited for this new segment, man. Spear Review. Let's go.
Yeah, I love it. Listen, for people like you and me, and for a lot of our PTS family, you guys love this stuff. I mean, we hear from you guys all the time how you appreciate the fact that, not only is this from a fan's perspective, but it's a fan's perspective with knowledge. We kind of know what we're talking about. And so to be able to actually get access to the all 22s and be able to look and see exactly what we saw with our eyes on the field, it's a game changer for us, because now we can actually back up even more, not just with stats, but with actual visuals of what we're seeing on the field. Now, I want to make sure we say this right up top, Jesse. We don't have the play calls. We don't have the play sheet, right?
Yeah, no.
So what we talk about today is based on the assumption of research of things that we went and looked to see similar play calls, similar things like that, but we know concepts. We can understand what they're trying to accomplish, and that's where the perspective we're going to be trying to bring to you guys.
Yeah, and I mean this also will help with scouting other teams if we can get a hold of their all 22 as well. That's something we're going to look into. But no, it's a great point. Like there's only so much you can say without knowing the play call, right? It could not be a busted play. It could be something that they just planned, that they drew up. So we're gonna go from that perspective. Also, because we have a wide range of listeners that watch and listen to this show. This will be YouTube only for those of you who maybe if you're podcast only, you're probably not even hearing this, but this will be YouTube only to make it easy on us to explain. But we have a wide range of listeners, so we're not gonna really be in there doing anything crazy, the inside of the atoms and the makeup of the block, and we're not worried about all that. We're kind of doing it from a high level perspective here. But we're gonna love to dig into this. So Michael, with that being said, man, let's go ahead and start digging into some film. We're gonna start here with offense, and then we're gonna go to defense. Basically what we did, because we knew just in week one we weren't going to have time to go through everything, because I want to say you're looking at about an hour and 15-ish, hour and a half of film if you were to roll the whole thing, and just we don't have time for that this week. So we each picked out some clips, some highlight plays from the Bama game, some good, some bad, that we're going to look at. And we're going to start with offense. But before we jump into the film, real quick, I just want to bring you guys a quick word from today's sponsor, and that is Alumni Hall FSU. Look, if you guys are headed to the game this week or any future game, make sure you stop by there. They got great gear. That's where this shirt came from. That's where this hat came from. Like I said, they got the old logo stuff in the college vault there. So make sure you guys check them out. 1415 Timber Lane Road in Tallahassee, or shop online at alumnihall.com and save 10% with code SPEAR. I promise you guys are going to love what they have. So, Michael, let's dig into some film here. I'm going to go ahead and move this into a different view. And we're going to start with offense here. So right out of the gate here, one of the first plays of the game, we are going to see them come out here, spread formation, Michael, right? This is the one to Javon Boggs.
Yep.
Big play. It ended up being a dropped pass, a missed opportunity here. And I did actually, because I will give you guys a little heads up. So when you watch all 22s, if you've never done this before, you get the wide field view, then you get the end zone view. you don't get all the in-between stuff. So we were talking about this play the other day and how it was not credited. And then one of our actual channel members, Mike, I appreciate him dropping this in there. There was a holding call, defensive holding
That's
call on
right.
this play. So that's why it did not get credited. So there's some things you don't see on the all 22 copy. So again, when we talk about this play, Michael, it was a good play, right?
Yep.
And Javon Boggs, the ball did hit him in the hands. So it was one that you would have liked to seen him come down with, but it was his first college target. So you
Right.
understand maybe some nerves there. The throw could have been a little bit better. It was a little bit off timed, but I'm going to go ahead and run the kind of the film here, and you've heard my piece on it, and then I'll chime in throughout the play. But then I'm going to talk. Let Michael talk because, as you guys know, hey, look, my voice is looking forward to that bye week coming up because I need to rest up for Virginia and Miami here. So you have Boggs down here lined up in the slot. And guys, when we do this in the future, this watermark will no longer be here. We just didn't really know which version of this we wanted to use. So here you go here. He's going to take off kind of down the field there. And then you are going to, let's go ahead and roll it forward. And I'll pass it over to you, Michael.
So right here, you see him go down the field there. Now, if you go back a little bit, right before the snap, you're going to see him, do the clap, which is usually the indicator to the center to snap the ball. But before that, he does a clap, and then he turns to the field to check with me. And it's really a trick play. It's to get the defense to relax. See, they relax, they snap the ball, so they're not ready. Now he's going to look down the field. And he's going to see Boggs. He's going to throw the ball there. Boggs has it clear in his hands, and he drops it. We know we get a holding call. But here's what I want, where I want us to look. When the ball is snapped, watch Boggs. Boggs is going to get shoulder to chest. Keep going a little bit, and we're going to pause right there. See, now in any football world, we would say, if Jesse, you highlight that right there, draw a box right there, because that means that he has beat the receiver. The ball from TC or Thomas Castellano should be out at that moment, because if he throws that ball on time at that moment, look, he gets a whole 2 yards on the defender there. That's a walk-in touchdown. He's still running right now, but because he's late on the throw, Boggs has to make the adjustment, and he makes a great adjustment to the ball. He goes up, he high points it at the right point in time. He gets his hand above him, and the ball is squarely in his hand, and he has it until he comes down and he drops it right before he hits the ground. Now, he has to make that catch. The old rule, if the ball touches your hand, you got to catch it. But there's a great route adjustment by Boggs. He got it. He has to make that catch, but Tommy has to be just a little bit more on time. There, you get great blocking from the offensive line. This could have been a big play from the offense.
Yeah, I agree, man. And again, it's about it could have been a little bit stronger throw, but I
Right.
mean, obviously we know Tommy, he's got a nice arm, but it's
Right.
not a very strong arm.
Right.
And it was a little late. Like you said, once you get the DB beat to the inside right here, the ball
Right.
should have been out right here.
There. Yep.
So if you can drop that thing about right
Yep.
there and hit Boggs in stride,
Boom.
you can see the safeties all the way over here. So he's still got to close.
And this safety's got to close. Yep.
And at that point, you got what, 3 yards on the guy covering Boggs.
Yep.
If you drop that in a bucket right there when he's looking back and he doesn't have to adjust to the ball, that's an easy 6.
Man, he's walking. He's still running right now.
Yeah, that's an easy touchdown. But again, like we said, man, that was one of the very first plays of the game.
Right.
That was a true freshman wide receiver. Here you're going to see it from the end zone view. This is something I'm sure he will get corrected and he will get cleaned up. He didn't get a whole lot of targets the rest of the game, but again, they only threw the ball 14 times in the game. But as you can see there, it does hit him in the hands.
Yep.
And again, that's something you'll get cleaned up. But it's just, I think it goes to show, when Mike Norvell addressed the press the other day, and he said he was kind of mad that it wasn't a worse outcome. They could have won by a lot more. What we're showing here is there's so many little things that could have turned. Now you ended up going and answering and scoring anyway, but I mean, you could have blown the game open right there on like the second play. Now, where you did blow the game open here with a deep pass, this is Squirrel White and his long play down the sideline. And this was a thing of beauty. And so, Michael, I will give the floor to you and kind of let you talk us through this one.
All right. Well, so this is 3rd and 11. So they just come out of a timeout. This is 3rd and 11. And so they've got to convert here, right? This is 3rd and 11, first quarter. They got to convert here. So Tommy's looking at the field, and he senses that Bama, the front, now Bama's front, the front four the linemen, they're in what is called a boss front, meaning they have three line defenders to almost one side of the offensive line, and then one that is wide out that's in what they call like a 5 technique. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to bring Gavin Sawchuk in as a protection unit. So he's gonna motion him back in. Now pause. Let's just rewind that real quick. So he's gonna motion Gavin Sawchuk back in. Can you highlight Squirrel right there? Okay, so Squirrel is inside the numbers right now. Okay, watch this little subtle adjustment that he makes. He goes outside the numbers. Now the defender here has to play inside technique. And for those of you who may not know, inside technique means he's going to he's going to kind of slightly turn his body to make sure that the receiver does not beat him inside the numbers. So he's going to force the receiver outside the numbers. Okay. He's doing that because he doesn't want to give up this middle here, but he also knows that he has protection or coverage from the safety here. The problem is that Squirrel is so fast, he beats him to the outside, and the defender turns the wrong way. And Tommy recognized this is where Tommy actually recognizes it really well. And as soon as that, look how quick that ball is out. Squirrel is running. Boom, the ball is out because he's beat. Just like he should have thrown it when Boggs had beat his defender. Squirrel is, well, he's beyond the chest. He's got a yard on him, and that ball is already out. And look at this. It's a thing of beauty. And if he puts it at just the right spot, this is not a diving catch, Jesse. This is a walk-in touchdown.
Yeah, and I think my immediate takeaway, right, is you have a receiver who can go down the field, beat a receiver or beat a DB, and then actually catch the ball.
Exactly. So
that
nice.
in its own right is very nice. But as you said, man, you see he checks the protection. He makes the right call there so that he's got time to pass. And it's a nice pocket. He's able to make this throw quick decision. And like you said, man, Squirrel getting that outside leverage there. This is something that we talked about too with Gus Malzahn in that offense about how you see them. So one thing he adopted at UCF that he didn't so much do at Auburn is they get really wide now. They love to get outside of the numbers. And so really you are giving yourself that inside leverage or the outside leverage on the DB. So if you're faster than him, like you would expect with Squirrel White, if you get a step past him, it's over because you're so far out of the away from the safety help.
Exactly.
He's not going to be able to close that in time. And that's exactly what you see on display. And it connects for a massive thing. And then the last thing I'll say on this is it was nice to see number 4 out here making plays and hitting the Keon celebration there as well. So a little homage to the former number 4 for Florida State.
Hey, can we go back? I just want to say, I know we're not talking about the offensive line. I just want to show them this shot. Okay, so Alabama right here is going to run what is called a twist or stunt. You can look it up. But right here, so go back real quick, just a little bit. So number 0, that's Lawson here. Lawson is going to go to the inside shoulder of the tackle, outside shoulder of the guard. And this defender is going to kind of loop back in. Look at Luke Pettibon. Now go back, Jesse. I want you to watch his head at the snap of the ball. I want you to watch where his head goes, right? Boom. Look where his head at. He is already anticipating. Man, that we hadn't seen that in so long of an offensive line that was smart enough to anticipate a stunt that's coming. Already knew, which gave TC enough time to make the right throw and get the ball to Squirrel. I just wanted to highlight that. That was just so good.
Yeah, I think you saw why they brought Luke Pettibon here. You saw why people were excited in this game you saw in this game why we were excited about him because, man, he played very well. He made all the calls. He was in command of the offense up front. And I mean, it's nice to have like a second, an extra coach or an extra quarterback there on the field. So, man, and here's another one where we talk about protection. This was a clip that I had put in here because of the protection. This is just a nice, clean pocket. And again, this is what we talk about where for everything the quarterback position was not last year. When you have to hike the ball and immediately run for your life, I don't care if it's DJ, JT, Jameis Winston, whoever's back there, you're not going to be able to deliver a nice pass, right? But you can see even Tommy, a guy that you don't put a lot of stock in his arm, although I think it's better than what people think it is. Anytime that you give him dynamic receivers to throw to and a good pass protection, a good pocket, he can make a play for you. And there's a couple things that I want to see on show you on this. First off, watch Pettibon here in the middle. He's obviously already making calls, so he's already getting everything set up. And then when we roll it forward here, you're going to see there also, this is a play that you're going to recognize here in just a minute. What I want you to watch here also, and this is Gus playing chess, right?
Yep.
3D chess. So just watch Roy Dale over here. Just keep an eye on what he does during this play. You're going to see him motion in, get next to the quarterback. They hike it. He's immediately back out on that wheel route. Now, it's not there because they cover it correctly this time. But we'll see why that's important here in just a second when we talk about Gus setting stuff up. But again, as Michael said, look, you got 3 guys here. You bring another guy from linebacker depth. You pick the blitz up, or you pick the replacement up there perfectly. Yep. Gunnar Hansen just stifling dudes out here on the outside. Look at your tackles. This is tackle play we have not seen in forever. Nope. Tommy's just standing back there, not even sweating, man. And then you have the receivers come here, and he finds a hole. He sits down, boom, makes the catch. And I mean, again, when you have playmakers up front, you have a quarterback with a live arm, and you have receivers who can catch. And by the way, man, I know he's out for the next couple of weeks because you're probably just resting him. Randy Pittman had a heck of a game. I mean, from a receiving standpoint to decleating Alabama linebackers, he's a much better blocker than I thought. So, I mean, again, man, this is the play that when it's one of those things we talk about, when everything works at every level, the play works. And this was one where the pass protection worked. The quarterback made the throw. The receiver found a spot in the coverage to get open. And it was just a beautiful play.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. Can we go to the end zone shot? Because I just want to point this one thing out real quick. Now, I want you to watch this. Watch this particular throw, because Tommy has to get this up the seam here. So where the hash marks are, Randy Pittman's going to sit down there. And as he looks, he's seeing Randy Pittman. Randy Pittman's going to sit here, right? Now, pause here. Now, he can throw this ball straight, but he's got the ump there. He's got this back safety here, and he's got 18 looking confused, okay? He's going to throw this ball to Randy Pittman's it'd be if you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be his right-hand shoulder. He's going to actually spin Randy around. See where that ball's coming? He's going to spin Randy around away from the defender. For people who say that Tommy can't throw the ball, like that, he's just a running quarterback, I have news for you. He's actually grown in that skill. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, but I'm saying that boy got better. I mean, this is a NFL level throw. Moving the receiver, throwing him open. Man, what a thing of beauty right there.
Yeah, because if you throw it inside the hash, that ball's getting picked off.
Probably picked.
That safety's jumping that route. So yeah, I mean, it was a very nice throw by Tommy. And then the next play that we're going to get to, Michael, remember what we just talked about with the wheel route? Gus was kind of seeing how you react, right? And then when he knows how you react, that's how he comes back and he hits you with a very similar play. So basically the same thing here. It's just with Jalen Lucas. You see the motion into the backfield, hike, and he's immediately out. And I will say, I think they anticipated the corner blitz here, and I think that's why they had this called.
Yep.
It doesn't, because at this point, when he releases the ball, as you can see here, these two receivers, their back is still to the quarterback.
That's right.
The ball was never going to come out to them, at least until you got about here.
Right.
And I think it was like a hot read, right? You see him come off the edge, the wheel route's going to be there.
Right.
And basically what you did is, with all the motion and the misdirection and with them watching everything that was going on, you put this linebacker in conflict. And when you had him in conflict, he just had to think about it for 1 second. And the problem is when you think for 1 second, Jalen Lucas is 10 yards down the field.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, Michael, this is the thing of beauty. So I'll toss it to you and get some thoughts.
Oh, man, I just love this play because, like you said, Gus Malzahn has been setting this play up for a couple times. He's run a couple different wheel route combinations, getting the linebackers thinking about that wheel route, getting the safeties worried about that wheel route. And here's what I want to show you here. So Gavin Sawchuk comes on this. So they bring Jalen in. Gavin Sawchuk comes on this little motion, or this little fake motion here, and he's going to pick up this cornerback. Now watch 18, the safety here. Okay, he's looking at this receiver here. His eyes, like if we can draw that tunnel right there to this receiver right here, he's looking right there. Okay, what What he's not seeing is the back. See, that's what he's looking at. He's looking right here. What he's not seeing is the back. And zero, which is Lawson, Lawson sees the back, but Lawson also has responsibility between the 30s and 40s. So he doesn't know what to do. Do I go? Do I stay? And TC says, if you go or you stay, you're too late because Jalen is getting in the end zone, or at least going to get close to it. And that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, he was like we said, by the time Lawson realized what was happening, it was too late. The ball was
Yep.
already over his head, already out of his hand.
Yep.
And so here's the end zone view of it. You'll see it here. You bring them in, you pop them out, and then, like you said, man. And the other thing I think that's big about this play that you can see too is you see his eyes
Yep.
are on Tommy because he knows Tommy is a legitimate run threat. And
That's
so
right.
I think he's backing out knowing, because he obviously sees he's not going out on a route now. He's watching Tommy because at the same time, if Tommy doesn't see that, if he does not take that wheel route,
Yep.
you're busted that way. And so that's what having an athlete at quarterback
Yes.
can do for you. It makes the defenders stop and think,
Yep.
oh crap, who am I supposed to go after at this point? And so if it's a pick your poison, if you
That's right.
pick Tommy, you let Jalen go. If you pick Jalen, you give Tommy the opening to run because you missed with the corner blitz. And so it was again, just a great play call by Gus Malzahn. Again, I don't know if they saw that coming, if they had a key or something like that, but it was funny. I watched Gus was on David Pollock's podcast, See Ball, Get Ball, and it was a great interview. I would go check it out. It's real short, good stuff. And he talked about how they had been scheming up all summer for this game and how they wanted to make Alabama's keys lie to them. And
I
so
love
like
it.
he was, yeah, man. I mean, he was in his play calling bag for this one. So then this is the scoring play here to follow the wheel route. Obviously, this is pretty much just a straight up run into the end zone here, a pitch. I know I don't know about you, Michael, but I held my breath a little bit when they pitched it after
Oh
the
yeah.
LSU
Oh
game.
gosh.
I hate
I
when they
did
do this.
too.
I know it works. I will say it was nice to see Keziah get in here
Yep.
and get some touches. He wasn't on the depth chart. It wasn't one we thought there, but it was nice. But man, I think what this play really shows me more than anything is Herb Hand talks a lot about winning the point of contact,
That's
and you
right.
can see that's exactly what kind of happens here with this on this play. And I will also point out it's probably better to see from the end zone view here, but you are in an unbalanced formation where you have Biscuit down here on the end lined up as a tackle, and then you have three offensive linemen here to the right side to kind of give you that numbers advantage over there
Yep.
with your big guys. But then really, Michael, the biggest thing here is, man, you just see white jerseys just rolling around on the ground everywhere.
Falling on the ground.
And it's just winning the point of attack. So talk us
Yeah.
through this from the end zone view.
Yeah, from the end zone view. So as Jesse, as you just mentioned, you have Biscuit here, number 87. He's lined up in the tackle spot, but he's technically still eligible. He's still eligible to go out to receive a pass because you have Gunnar Hansen and you have the other tackle that's, like you said, lined up to the right of the center after the guard there. So Biscuit could still go out for a pass, and you're gonna see this unbalanced line again. If you watch the game, you're going to see this again later. But I love it as the ball gets snapped to Keziah Holmes. Look at this. I mean, they're just moving people, moving. And if Randy Pittman, he does affect the runner, but if he actually gets that block, I mean, Keziah Holmes is just walking in, right? He's just walking in. I mean, everybody's just falling over each other, like trying to catch some cheese, but they ain't catching him. This is how good they inflict their will on that Alabama defense.
Yeah, I mean, this was a physical play. This was a who wants it more.
Right.
And that was one that I thought they did a really good job on. And so the next play here, Michael, this is one that I had added in because this is just a nice play, right? This is something Gus Malzahn has been setting up for quite a while. I think this might have happened before the first corner blitz that we watched. So this may have been something that they knew they could key on here. But when you look at the play, this has got everything you want from a Gus Malzahn. And the thing about it, we've talked about this before. Gus Malzahn's play sheet's not super deep. It's a lot of the same plays. It's just getting your eyes moving so you don't know what to key on. And so that is what is impressive. So you already bring motion here to try and confuse because they've already seen Lucas Burnham one time.
That's right.
And so when he's moving, you can obviously start to see eyes in the backfield watching all these guys move. And so then Tommy's got the read here. And so he pulls it because he sees the corner coming on the blitz. And if the corner's coming on the blitz,
right,
then you're going to vacate this whole part of the field.
That's
And
right.
Deuce is just going to go sit down in there.
Yep.
And so that's exactly what he does. He sits down on a little curl route, and bam, you get a free, what, about eight or so yards.
Yep.
But the other thing that I want to, and I'll let you talk through this with us in just a second. But, again, you got the run fake, you got the motion fake. But the other thing from the end zone view that I really like about this play is we talk about this with Gus Malzahn a lot, options within options of
Yep.
plays. So you're already, we already know you got the run fake, but that's not really the play here. You're reading this corner. And so when he
That's right.
comes, if he does not come on this blitz, that safety's probably bailing.
Yep.
And Tommy's boom
Yep.
off to the races for a 10
Yep.
to 15 yard gain right there. So again, it's if the things that this offense requires Tommy to do is not to be a Heisman, not to throw for 5,000 yards or 4,000 yards in a season. It requires you to be smart, dangerous with your legs, and a good distributor of the football. And that is exactly what he does on this play. He makes the right read. He gets the ball to where it needs to go, and you get positive yards.
Yes, yes. This is such a beautiful, masterful job by Gus Malzahn, because you have 3 plays in one. Okay. Now remember, he's been setting them all up. You're going to see this all game. This little jet motion that he runs. They run it with Roydell. They run it with Gavin Sawchuk. They run it with Jaden Lucas a lot. So he's gonna run this fake here to Oma Kruzma, right? Chroma, and then you have inside zone here, meaning that the tight end is coming down the block. So first you have inside zone run to the freshman. Okay, you have a jet inside zone run. Then you have potentially a QB read, which he could run. When the corner comes down for the blitz, now you have what is called red alert. Red alert basically says to the wide receiver, if the corner comes on a blitz, get 8 to 10 yards, turn around and sit on that. Usually it's called like a snag route, right? Tommy reads it really well. Deuce reads it really well. They're on the same page. Now you pick up 10 yards. He breaks the tackle. Now he's got 15 yards. That was basically 4 plays in one play.
Yeah. And then you're getting it to a guy like Deuce Robinson who can make a play. You can make a guy miss.
That's right.
And pick up some yards after catch, and that's what turns. Yeah, I mean that's what turns it into a bigger play. And so the next one here that we have is we just had to get a couple clips in here of Chroma and some of his running. So we're just going to play this one right on through and watch this just beautiful run. And this is a freshman. I mean, this is just it's
gorgeous.
Ridiculous to watch him as a freshman, to see how he can get up in the hole. We talked about the things that we talked about his top attributes when he came to Florida State was contact balance, power, and jump cuts. And he displays pretty much all of that on this play. And again, man, I mean, you get look at this first off. Look at that hole. Like you just don't see that. Now, granted, this is why they keep worrying about Randy Pittman. So the linebacker, he sucks him right out of the play.
Yes, he does.
But this has to be somewhat of a miscommunication by Bama, because you have two linebackers taking the same tight end, and you leave the gap open. Now, if you're Chroma, if you can see this and get in it a little bit quicker, this where you don't have to make that jump cut, you're off to the races probably, because you can bend that back outside of Deuce, and you're gone. But still, just to watch him see that hole, get up in the hole, and then break a couple tackles and carry the defense, man, I mean, the kid is just special. And I said this on the last episode that we talked about, Michael, where he reminds me a lot of James Wilder, right? The way he runs. James Wilder Jr., who played for Florida State, and I believe they even wore the same number, 32. They were both kind of built like just that real jacked dude. And, man, just that hard-nosed style running, breaking tackles. This reminds me when he carried the Clemson defense and like the entire defense in that game, man. So how can you not be excited about this kid, right?
That's so good. That's so good. Okay, if you roll this back to the okay, so they're going to bring Randy on motion here. Now, here's why that's important. Because remember, Gus has been setting them up all day that wherever Randy goes, that's where the running back's coming, right? Now, look at this. So now move that back just a tad bit, back before the ball snap. Number 41, he's looking at Tommy, but he's got one eye on Randy Pittman, number 13 here. Now, watch as Pittman just moves down. Look, so he gets set and he moves down. Now, 41 is just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to follow him. I'm coming right to the hole. And then Kruma go, nah, I'm going to go this way. Look at the great seal block there by the guard and the tackle, Hansen and Adrian Medley there. And then Kruma just gets right up there. And, man, like you said, Jesse, if he hits that hole just a little bit at center, he's probably down the field before he even gets touched.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Pettis out here with this is the ultimate disrespect if you're an offensive lineman, right? Just when you get him on the ground, you just lay on him and sweat on him for a couple of seconds. Like that's just the ultimate like F you to a defensive lineman. And
Yeah.
he just manhandled him. And really, I mean, now that I'm sitting back here watching it too, like when I know it would have to happen in a fraction of a second here, but if Tommy actually decides to pull this ball, with him losing his footing, and
Oh
if
man.
he can get a seal block, Tommy could have taken off that way
Oh,
again. So
yep.
when you have good offensive line play, it just opens up so many
Changes the
things that
game.
you're able to do, right? Definitely. And so the next one here, this is just an example that I put in because of Tommy and just his running ability. I think this is something that was a real big, had a big effect on the game. I mean, yeah, he only ran for like 78 yards, which is a good amount. I mean, that
Right.
was still a good amount,
Right.
but it was more about knowing you had the threat of
Right.
Tommy there and his legs. This is why you see all those defenders in conflict, because they're like, I know I cannot just ignore this guy. It's not like DJU last year where like, man, he ain't going nowhere.
That's
We could
right.
be 7-on-7 and he wouldn't run. And so you just got that different type of guy here. And so Tommy, he just sits back. I think he had more time to sit in the pocket here, but that's neither here nor there. I
Right.
mean, you're pretty much, you're pretty well covered up
Yep. Yeah.
down
Yep.
the field here. You had this maybe, but I don't think he was. I think he was starting to feel pressure. And then he just gets loose. And I mean, he takes it for 10, 12 yards. And man, that's a guy that can turn a potential busted play into positive yards. And that's something that very well could have been a sack last year.
Absolutely. Now, we don't know if this was a design run or not, because, and the reason why I'm saying that I'm not sure is because he sends Roydell out on motion. Now, the motion that Roydell is going to run is actually a wheel route there. And if you watch before Tommy takes off, Roydell is basically behind the two corners. If you go back to the wide shot there, Rodell is actually behind the corner. You see this? Look at this. So as they run the route, this receiver takes that safety. This receiver takes that corner. Look at Rodell coming behind there. So that's why I'm saying like it could potentially have been a coverage play where he's like, oh, no one's open, I'm going to run, or it could be a design run. But even though, just pay attention to the rest of the season. I think this play is going to come back, because I think Gus has saw this on film and says, man, if we can get this same look how wide open he is. Look how wide open he is. With the threat of Tommy running, man, you could do a little Tim Tebow, I hate to say that name, little jump pass that's coming behind there. I mean, this is just the ingenuity of Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, and watching this back, man, I actually think you're right. Now you could have hit Roydell for a big play, but watching this back, a couple things that I'm seeing here again, that this guy's looking at the ball, right? But this guy, he's not paying attention.
Nope.
He looks like he's getting ready to engage in a block.
Yep.
And you also have an offensive lineman that's working his way
down the field.
downfield. So this is probably more of a delayed quarterback run where it's just a draw. And then, because Tommy's so elusive, you can take it for 10, 15 yards, which is huge. And so, man, again, like we'll just kind of watch this one play through. But that's what happens when you have a guy like that. And I heard Gus say in that interview where he said they knew coming into this game, you typically play it game by game, week by week, what you want to do with your quarterback as far as the run game goes. But you always want to do what you got to do to win.
Right.
But he said, I thought coming into this game that we needed to run him about 15 times. And he said we called about 10 design runs, and there was about 5 of them where he just made something happen. So again, it's just like we talk about with the pass, right? You have to do enough passing to open up the run, but you have to let Tommy do enough with his legs to let that threat be there. And that's another one. But this is going to be another run here by the freshman Chroma. We just like, the game was a Chroma highlight, but we just like watching him. So again, I mean, you're just going to see him here. And this is the jump cuts.
Gosh.
Slipping in here. I mean, just great. And a couple other things I want to highlight here. Watch Adrian Medley just absolutely bull right over this Alabama defensive lineman. And I mean, this is just a man-child block. This is a man block right here. Just get off me. And then Chroma just makes something happen. So, man, this is good. Watch Micah Pettis get up to the second level over here. I mean, this is just, look at Gunnar Hansen, how quick he gets up to the second level. I mean, this is just really good offensive line play. Now, I know he didn't really hook him in the right way, and Chroma ran, probably should have cut it back to the inside. But again, man, this is just a great run by Chroma, but it's not hard when you have great blocking. but
Right.
you
Yeah.
still got to be able to get up in the hole and make the cuts and all that stuff. So it's good stuff, man. And he's only going to get better with experience and time. I mean, this was his first. This guy was in high school this time last year.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited about the East Texas A&M game because I feel like with Roydell out, man, he should get a lot
Yeah.
more carries. I mean, listen, he came out of this game with the most carries and the most yards of the running back room. And he was, everyone thought he'd only play, a couple of snaps. But I mean, when you see stuff like this, look at this jump cut. I mean, this is called vision, power, speed. He's not dancing. He's not just dancing in the hole. He's just getting there. I mean, gosh, this is a thing of beauty. And the offensive line, just run blocking was just incredible.
Yeah, it was just an all around good play. And again, it's not a home run,
Right.
but it's one of those that it just keeps you, keeps you ahead of the chains. It's a positive play. This is another one that I put in here. This is just a run by Tommy. This is again that kind of quarterback power that they do. Now
Right.
of course, Gus talked about this a little bit in that interview that he did with the David Pollock podcast, where like, look, man, when you have a quarterback who can be as dangerous as him. He referenced Cam Newton back then. It's just a play you're going to see a lot because it just changes the numbers game, right?
That's
You
right.
have 11 guys you have to watch out for. And now, of course, Gus is going to set it up with some eye candy here.
Yep.
You got Sawchuck coming across, so you're going to fake that. And then you're going to get some good double team down blocking here. Look, this is feet in the air. This is a head down here on the ground. You are just literally, I guess my pencil translated that for me.
Yeah,
This is
yes,
a head
it
down here.
did.
This guy's doing a cartwheel, not by his own choice. So that's just a man block there.
I love
And
it.
then and then the other thing here, you get Gunnar Hansen. He pulls
Yes.
up in the hole and just stones the
Boom.
linebacker. And man, it's just a nice block play with a little bit of eye candy. You get Pittman just does enough to pull him out of the play.
Yep.
And then what I really want you to see in this though is right here where
Yes.
Tommy just shakes this linebacker. Now he loses his footing, and it's not because he got touched, but he
Nope.
loses his footing. But man, if you can see it better from the end zone view, but if he can shake, because I know they didn't play well, but there's still
Right.
athletes on that team.
Right.
If he can shake a linebacker like that, man, imagine what he's going to do to a Wake Forest linebacker.
Man.
Imagine what he's going to do to a linebacker who's not as athletic as that. But man, again, like just watching these, just cutting.
I'm just watching the guy doing the cartwheel again.
Feet up in the air. And I mean, it's just a great play. And so like, I just love to see the O-line play, man, because this is going to they did a really good job. They didn't ask a whole lot from them, from the blocking assignments. And this is going to make life easy for the offense if you can get offensive line play like this week in and week out.
Yeah, look, I just want to talk a second about how Gus sets this up, because go back to the beginning of this this Enzo view. Okay, so look at here, Enzo view right here. Look at here. Now you got one. Look, can you give us the numbers, Jesse? Start at number 42. You got number 1. You got 2 at number 12. You got 3. You got 4. You got 5. You got 6. You got 7. And you got 8. You got 8 people in the box, okay? Right? So Gus is going to run this little jet fake here, and then he's going to bring the tackle and the guard around on a counter, okay? Now, look how he clears it out. Now, all it leaves for is Tommy on number 10, and he just makes him break his ankles, whoop, around, and if he doesn't trip, he's probably still running a little bit. Like, I mean, that is just incredible play design by Gus Malzahn.
Right. And when you have a guy like Tommy in the backfield who can basically be that extra running back, it also allows you to use your running backs and your other playmakers as decoys to really throw things off. So you're going to create those one-on-one battles with Tommy Castellanos. And he's a guy that, again, he can make you miss in a phone booth. And so they are, when you get him one-on-one on linebacker, you're hoping that he can do exactly that and shake him. Now, we do have a couple plays that need some attention. These are just some things that didn't go well. Again, first game, these things can be cleaned up, but we're just going to kind of go through some things that didn't necessarily go well. So, Michael, I know this is one that you picked out, so I'll let you talk us through it.
Okay, so now, again, this is not criticism like, oh, this is terrible. This is what Mike Norvell was talking about when he said he was pissed off because when he looked back at the film, they should have won by more. I'm gonna give you one of those examples. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're not trying to be negative after a big win like Alabama. That is definitely not what we're trying to do. We are 90% praise in this film clip.
Absolutely.
But again, it's the meat on the bone, right?
Exactly.
It was a great, feast, but there's still meat on the bone, and that's what the
Yes.
coaches talked about. So these are the little things that we see that one or two mistakes that gets corrected, maybe this does turn into a 3-4 score game.
Correct. Now, this is supposed to be a read play where Tommy's going to read the linebacker here. Okay, so go back here, right here. So number 0, right here, Lawson. We're going to circle him. Tommy is going to be reading him. Okay. Now, as the jet motion comes in, he's going to fake the jet motion. Now he's reading. Now, here's the thing. If pause it right there. Just go a little bit back there, a little bit back. Yeah, right there. Now, if Tommy is reading him, Roydell is either number 5. He either should take this number 18 block, or he should roll up and take 0 away, which then gives Tommy the ability to keep the ball and go. But Tommy, I think, makes the mistake here. I think it's on Tommy because he gives the ball. And so Roydell actually reads it right, takes 0, and now 18 is wide open to come and take out number 12. Now, here's why I think that's important, because number 76 here, number 76 is Adrian Medley. Adrian gets up to the second level and takes out, number 10. If he can square just a little bit better, look at that lane right there. Draw that lane for Tommy for us, Jesse. Look at this lane. Look at this lane. Look at that lane. Look at that. So Tommy, I think, here makes the wrong read. If he keeps that ball and Adrian Medley is able to get just a little bit better block, and even then, I still think Tommy breaks through that and he's gone. But that's just the little crumbs, the little meat that was left on the bone in this game that I think could get better. And this was a good play. It's just the fact that if he makes the right read, see how 18 gets free there? 18 shouldn't have been able to make that tackle, because the read should have been to keep and for Tommy to go.
Yeah, and I will say for Medley, that kind of hook block is the hardest
I
block
bet.
for an offensive lineman to make. It's tough because you're just not much faster than those guys.
Right.
But either way, like you said, I think Tommy probably could have pulled it there had the blocking of set up. He's got his back to you.
He's got his back to you.
So if you hit him, it's a foot race, and they're not. This is your best chance to stop you. The
Correct.
other thing I can see here that maybe they could have done a little bit better is if Jalen just bounces it to the
You're so
outside,
right. You're so right.
because he's in traffic. He's not like, you see how Jalen kind of has to change
Yep.
his footing,
Yep.
which slows you down tremendously. So if he just bounces it like we were talking about here, and you get outside of 18, he's not catching you. You got a blocker here, you got a blocker here, you're off to the races.
Yep.
So if he would have never cut that back in, I think that's 2 different ways that play could have really worked. But again, it's just the little small things.
Well, now, Jesse, go back real quick. This is just something funny. Okay. Number 57 here. Okay, Micah Pettis. I want you to watch the end of this play. Now, remember when the Alabama dude was like, this dude been putting his stuff in people's faces? Look, here it is again. Micah Pettis just be dropping stuff in people's faces just over and over and over again.
Just out here teabagging dudes like he's playing Xbox or something.
Just telling them.
Yeah. But man, when you can bully Alabama defensive linemen like that, and they just kind of got to take it because there's nothing, they're just getting whipped. It just says something about the physicality and all that of your team. So here's another one, just one more thing, a miscommunication, things that could be cleaned up. Obviously, this was the missed opportunity here with Biscuit, where they just kind of were not on the same page. You could see Tommy kind of say something. I think in a TV copy when they show Tommy, you can see him kind of like, you were supposed to kind of go back maybe the other way, or there's just a miscommunication on the route. And it's just things that got to get cleaned up. You're able to beat Alabama, but you still have room. Like when he makes this throw, if it's to the right spot, you have space to fit this in there. It was kind of a miscommunication on where to go and where the throw was. But, it's small things. It's little missed opportunities. And remember, this is the first time these guys have played a game together.
That's right.
But, the thing is, you can see it's there. Now, that's going to be a tough throw because you got to drop it in there.
Yeah.
But, it was open. It just, the throw sailed on him a little bit. And I think the route broke off the wrong way. But things happen.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to maybe carry that route maybe in a few extra yards. But the problem is that if you go back just a tad bit, see, now go to where Tommy is. He hasn't released the throw, but it's in his throw motion right there. Stop. Look at this. as a receiver, you're taught, man, your eyes should be already looking to see if that ball is out because you've already broken your defender level right here, right? Your eyes should be out and seeing that. His eyes is too late. Therefore, he can't make the adjustment to the ball. Also, he probably should have ran that route maybe about a couple more yards deeper there. And I would say to Tommy, too, Tommy did put a lot because he's trying to drop this ball in between the linebacker and the safety, but maybe just a little too much on the mustard. So these are just small little incremental improvements that each person can make.
Timing. That's
Timing,
a lot of
timing.
it's timing and experience, and
Yep,
that's what you're gonna work on in the next couple games, right? That's the big thing there.
that's right.
Okay, so let's see here. So the next one, let's see, that was another view of that one. Let's go to here. We just got a couple of views. We're gonna pass that, and then we're gonna get to this is a fun one here. Let's get to the Gavin Sawchuk run.
Oh, come on now.
This is to me, Michael, is the exclamation point of the night when you talk
Yes,
about physicality, right? This is one where this play in particular became who wants it more.
right.
And at the end of the day, you just saw a Florida State team that wanted it more. And so, I mean, it sets up just like most of Gus's plays, right? You get a little bit of motion just to kind of get some eyes moving. You're moving your tight end here. You're kind of faking them, pulling your tight end around there. But then you just find a hole, you find a
Well,
gap, and you just make it work. And then there's
gosh.
at least one missed tackle, and then you got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Keep
6,
counting.
about 8 guys on Alabama that are trying to make this stop, and then you just bull them over for a touchdown. Now, we heard Herb Hand talk about this, right? This is the culture play. This
That's right.
shows the culture that they built. But you know Herb Hand, he's only going to give about an ounce of praise and
That's right.
about a ton of criticism. That he said, look, we got other guys who are standing around not pushing. You had 3
That's right.
guys not pushing. So, but man, I think when you look at this play for the offense, this is one of the ones that really stood out to
Absolutely.
me as just a stamp on the physicality that Florida State played with in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, that's been missing, right, Jesse? It's been missing for the last couple of years, or I'm sorry, for last year, 2024. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. You know, even during the 3 and 6 and the 5 and 7 years, one of the things you knew Florida State is they were going to be physical in the run game, and then that just kind of went away, really, with the start of 2023 season, where it was difficult to run, and then obviously 24 that it was non-existent. So to see offensive linemen that are just in there, just like just getting dirty, you know. One of your favorite plays was that picture that you saw was in 23 or I'm sorry, 22, where Dylan Givens had that
The bent face mask. Yep.
face mask, right? Man, that's a lineman's dream because that means that you were doing some hard work today. And let me tell you, against Alabama, that offensive line was doing some hard work. This play is a culture play for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you just look here, like watch Luke Pettibon just turn this Alabama defensive lineman. And right now, the thing is, man, when you're locked in like that, you're inside them pads, and it's a man versus man play.
Yeah.
It's just who's stronger and who wants it more to be able to turn. Because really, I mean, the defensive lineman kind of has a little bit. I mean, you know where the run's going, but the defensive lineman has the advantage because he doesn't have to worry about a holding call really. And so you just get in there. That's arm strength, and you just push him, turn your hips, flip your hips, and you just block him. Look at out here with Medley, just blows his guy off the ball, creates a hole. Really, the only reason this got slowed down is just because, Pettis kind of just lost his footing out here and fell down. But just the run blocking, man, it was something we haven't seen here for quite some time, man. And so that was really, really encouraging to see here. So when you look at from the end zone view here, again, you get a double team, but he tries to throw Pettibon, but Pettibon just stays engaged and just keeps him out of the play, man. And I mean, it's just, the run blocking was a thing of beauty. And then you see guys jumping in the play to kind of push the pile. And again, I mean, there's more white jerseys than Garnet right there. And still managed to push them out of the way and get it here. So, Michael, the last thing I want to finish with on offense here is just some play sequencing, right? This is something that we talked a lot about Gus Malzahn's offense when we did our offensive preview about how he likes to set things up as the game goes on to kind of see how the defense reacts. He'll feed you a little bit, see how you handle it, and then he'll come back and maybe run it out of the same play out of a different formation, run a different play out of the same formation. They're just setting things that, again, it's a 3D chess type of game. And this was pretty much, every one of these was pretty much on the same drive.
Right.
And so it's just within a couple minute window here. So you can see here, second quarter, 2nd and 7, about 12 and a half minutes left here. This is where they start setting things up, right? And so this is just a great sequencing by Gus Malzahn. This is one of the ones where you're just kind of, This is vintage Gus Malzahn, man. And so you get kind of the jet flip play here off of the GT counter with an unbalanced formation. This is another
That's
thing that
right.
we talked about where you'll see this here. So you got the tight end down here with his hand in the dirt. You got 3 offensive linemen here, and you're running the GT counter, so they're coming around this way, but you're not going that way. But
Nope.
what that does, again, is you're just freezing these linebackers because
Eye candy.
they don't know where to go. So you're running him around there, and then you just kind of dump off to Lucas. But again, see, Zero here, he's still kind of watching.
You
He's
don't know what
just
to
now
do.
picking up. He's still kind of watching the handoff here. So you froze him enough. Now he's able to go, but he's got some traffic he's got to get through out here. And then the play doesn't go for big, right? It's not a
Right.
huge play, but it's all about setting things up for later in the drive and just kind of seeing how they react. You can kind of see the same thing here. What a clean little flip, too, by the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
by Tommy. And
Yeah.
so you kind of see that one get set up there. Maybe a little bit better block there on the edge, and maybe you can break it. But Alabama did kind of read and react to that well.
This wasn't the holding one, was it? Where we got a holding on this one?
I'm not sure if it was or not. It very well could have been.
Okay. There's
But
one of
then
them in the sequencing where we got a holding call, and I think it was Pettis out here when he was blocking that guy.
I think it could have been. It very well could have been. I don't
Yeah.
see a flag on
Yeah, I
the
was trying to
field,
see
but
if he had thrown it already.
it's hard to tell on
Yeah.
the all
Okay.
22s. But then you see him come back about 2 minutes later, maybe a minute and a half later here, and you're going to kind of get a little bit of taste of the same thing. It's not an unbalanced formation,
Nope.
but you're going to bring Lucas just like you did,
Yep,
where you
on the
just did the
jet.
flip on the counter. But this time, instead, you're going to get quarterback power read off of jet
Yep.
motion. And
Yep.
so you're bringing in, again, you get Roydell coming in here to block. You got your guard pulling around. And this is a Gus Malzahn staple, running the
Yep.
quarterback power. He loves this play.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
then so Tommy just turns it into positive yards. Again, not a huge gain. Bama's linebackers kind of read that one well.
Yep.
But you get positive yards again, and then you're just continuing to set things up. And then, Michael, the very next play is a quarterback counter with jet motion, which is another similar thing. Again, you're bringing I think this is the end zone. Yeah. Okay, let me go forward to the next play, because this is the very next play. You're going to kind of get the same thing here. They're just probably really sick of watching Jalen Lucas running around the field. So basically the same thing here, and you're just going to see Tommy cut it up the middle. So basically out of the same eye candy of formations, right, you have now run about 3 different plays so far. So they're keying on things, but they don't really know what's coming. And this is the end zone view of that. So you're going to see them come across here, and he's just going to take it up the middle. And it's just kind of it's just a jumbled mess up there in the middle. So, but you got positive yards out of it. And all of that, Michael, goes into setting up the next play, literally the next play after that. And this is where you sting them.
Beauty.
This is where you sting them. So you bring, it's Boggs this time. It's not Lucas, but still you're getting that that slot or that jet motion from the slot position. And so what you're going to get here, this is the reverse play to Danzy that scores, but you're going to get a bluff counter from the guard and tackle. So we know that they've been pulling the guys, right? They've been pulling these linemen, kind of get the guard tackle counter there. But what you see this time is you see Hansen just flips and works his way right back out.
Right back. Yep.
You're also going to see, watch how fast Pettibon
Gets
starts moving and shedding guys. So he can't blow that up in the backfield. And then next thing you know, this just becomes an athletic play because again, so you see the motion, they've already seen that motion a bunch of times. So these linebackers, Danzy's coming across and they're still got their eyes in the backfield, This guy picks it up, but he just gets, gets blocked out here on the edge. And then you got a guy with track speed and power. And I mean, it's 6. And this is a play that Bama fans have circled.
Yes, they do.
Watch this guy's effort. And I'm just going to play it at full speed here. And he just kind of taking a leisurely jog because you probably know you're not going to catch Mekhi Danzy.
Right.
But at the end of the day, man, I mean, this was it's something he had set up the whole drive. And so you see them incorporate a lot of the same motion, a lot of the misdirection, a lot of the use of the lineman to make your keys lie to you. Like Gus Malzahn said, I saw that last time. I know they went this way. Boom, you pop them with a reverse and it works. And then I'll kick it back to you after this one last thing. We'll watch the end zone view here. So again, it works great. You find a seam, and look at Deuce Robinson.
Oof.
Just about to put just about to put this guy under the bench. And then the thing is, you come back again and you hit him with basically the same thing again.
Yep.
So you get that jet motion from the slot with Randy Pittman this time, except he almost does like the GT counter
Yep.
bluff.
Yep.
Instead of the lineman, he turns around, you get it to Danzy on the pitch again, and you sting him again for
Yep.
another about 20-yard, 25-yard gain. And
Yep.
Danzy's tough runner, doesn't even go to the ground with 3 Alabama defenders chasing him down. So, man, I mean, it's just when you see what Gus is able to do, right? This is why we said that Gus was going to do well in this offensive
Yep.
coordinator position. He's got one thing to focus on, and that's being, the old school ball coach, just like old times, all the things that he says, just scheming and coaching. And man, it was a really, really good thing to see for Gus Malzahn in his first game in Garnet Gold.
Man, I love it. And I love these play calls as he's been scheming up all game, trying to get them different looks. And what's a beauty about it is that you're seeing these jet motions, you're seeing these counters. They're coming. We've said, Gus Malzahn doesn't have a deep playbook. What we don't mean is that Gus Malzahn doesn't have deep formation. Gus Malzahn has formation for days, but he's running the same 20 to 25 plays out of 50 different formations. That's given the defense just like whirlwind of like, what in the world are we looking at? And it's the same play. So he's been setting up this whole time to run this little toss play, right? Earlier, you saw where we ran a toss play from under center to Keziah Holmes, right? Well, now he's going to take the toss play. He's going to combine it with the jet. He's going to combine it with a counter, but a bluff with the tackle, right? We're going to see. I mean, it's just all the time. Look at that jet play after jet play after jet play. Oh, we're gonna throw in a read with the jet play. Now we're going to throw in a read with the jet and the counter. Now we're going to throw a read in the jet and the counter with the toss. Like, I mean, just over and over and over again. I mean, it's just a thing of beauty. And yeah. This is Gus Malzahn unabridged. He doesn't have to worry about recruiting off campus. He doesn't have to worry about fundraising. He doesn't have to worry about all the head coaching responsibility. Like he said, he's an old ball school coach. He's an old ball coach. He can get in there and he can just scheme with the best of them. And when you get an unabridged Gus Malzahn, man, oh my goodness. I mean, we saw it on display.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he has time to really scheme things up, and like you said, it's not necessarily, if you can get the things doing that you want to do. Like, if they'll bite on the eye candy and they'll freeze on the motion, and if you're also able to do what this team was able to do in rushing for 230 yards, where Gus had talked about, like, we threw the book at them, they did some things, we had to adapt because they threw some things at us that we didn't really expect them to do. But then you were able to just lean on them late because you had some success early. And when you rush for 230 yards, you're just wearing that front seven out on the other side of the ball. So you saw touches from both sides of what Gus Malzahn likes to do. You saw the scheme in Gus Malzahn, and then you saw that just kind of power, run it down your throat type of Gus Malzahn. And again, you got to do this for 11 more games. But I think you saw the potential of what Gus can be when he's really clicking, when he's really got things going. Because again, man, there was they threw so much at Alabama in this that you had their defenders starting to think. And anytime you make a defender think, it's with athletes like you have with Jalen Lucas and Tommy Castellanos and all these guys and Squirrel White, you need one step. If you can get one step, you can turn it into a big play. So, Michael, let's flip over to defense because we got some ground to cover here. And this was, man, there's been a lot of talk about Gus Malzahn and what the offense did. And granted, it took us 11 games to get to 21 points last year, over 21, and you got a 31 against Bama. There's been a lot of talk about that. But, man, I think it's crazy not to just really give Tony White just as much credit because what his defense did was masterful in this game against – I know they were down their starting running back, but you still had your starting quarterback. You still had an offensive line that is believed to be one of the best in the country. You still had a receiver group that's one of the deepest and best in the country, at least on paper anyway. And you were doing things like playing freshmen against these guys, and they were having success. So, man, I just can't say enough about this defensive performance. And as I mentioned on the last show, there were some guys that, I think James Williams kind of had a pedestrian day. If he can really start to fall into that starting role a little bit better, and you get Kevin Wynn back, man, again, this defense can get much better. And if you ask Tony White, if you listen to him after the game, you would have thought we lost by 30 points. And so he knows there's a lot to go. But, man, I mean, to have the performance that they did to hold Bama to 87 rushing yards and 55 of it was on the first drive, it's just very, very impressive for this defense in the first game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tony White was in his bag, and after that first drive, of course, a lot of offenses like the scripter plays that they kind of are running plays against tendencies. So I'm sure they studied, White's tendencies and what he likes to call there, and so they had that first drive to 15 or 17 play, I believe it was 17 play drive there. But you know what? They made the adjustment, they got back in it, and then from that point on, outside of a couple just blown coverages that allowed them to score. I mean, you're talking about this could have been a bigger margin of defeat
Yeah.
for Alabama.
Oh, without a doubt. And so we're going to start with some defensive clips here. Some of these will go a little bit faster. It's just things that I wanted to show. But the first one, man, Earl Little. Like if
Come on now.
he was a head hunting just beast out there on Saturday. And if he can stay healthy and you can get that level of play every week from him, I mean, this is like I'm not going to throw out, Derwin James and things like that, but you're talking about like impact safeties just watching this position feels so natural
Yep.
for a head hunting, hard hitting guy like Earl Little. And this first play, this is literally the first play of the game. Why I wanted to show this. So again, he's that rover safety, that middle safety. So you have your two safeties outside of him here, and then you have Earl here sitting in the middle at that rover safety. And basically, he's just essentially a really deep linebacker in a way. And so you'll see him here. He's going to read this. Bama's going to use motion, and he's going to see the handoff. And
Yep.
look at how fast he diagnoses this. I mean, so if this is your line of scrimmage here, roughly about the 20, by the time the running back it gets back to the line of scrimmage, Earl's already downhill. He's already coming at him.
Yep.
And when he comes down in this run fit, I mean, as soon as he meets, you can see he meets him here, and the play stops right there. And I'm sure that running back probably has few pounds on Earl Little. So the way he just comes in and just absolutely smashes, and then again, look at all the rest of the guys getting in on the play. But man, I mean, really, really impressive to see him come from depth and close that fast, as you'll see again here on the end zone view. I mean, he just fills that gap and boom. And just, man, what a play by Earl Little.
Man, I love this play. Now, listen, I know he picks up like eight yards, I believe, on this play. But while we're highlighting this play, I mean, there's a couple, alignment issues on this play. But remember, it's the first drive. What I love about this play is, okay, so go back to the handoff where the mesh point. When you get to the mesh point here, boom, okay, right here. When you get to the mesh point, you see his feet. His feet hit that back foot that's kind of high, that looks like it's stepping up. You circle that right there for me. That little, like right there. You see where his feet is right there? No, I'm sorry, Earl Little's feet. You circle Earl Little's feet right there. See, that's a drive. He's getting ready to drive that foot back so he can come shoot this gap. Look at that. Look at that. And now he's reading that gap. That's his responsibility. That these other safeties, they're supposed to make sure that there's no cutbacks. His job is to get to that gap, that open gap right there, and take that running back down. And it's unstoppable force meets a immovable object.
Yep.
Yeah. And look at him. Boom. I mean, he just stops him dead in his track right there. And he's probably got a couple pounds on Earl Little, but I just love the fact that he instinctively understood, I've got to get down there. I got to get that ball, and then watch everybody else just run to the ball. Just run to the ball. Yeah, run to the ball. So that is Tony White instilling that attack mindset.
Yeah, team tackling. And the thing is too with this, this was the first drive before they really settled in, right? Your defensive line wasn't really getting a whole lot of push on that first drive. Bama was kind of doing what they wanted to, but I think it's just to show that you have players at every level.
Right.
So if maybe the defensive line is not having a dominant day, you have linebackers. There's a couple plays we're going to get to here as well, where you had a lot of young pups on the defensive line, but the linebackers were playing so well, it didn't really matter. You just needed them not to get blown off the ball. But it shows you how Earl Little can be an eraser.
Right.
And that's really one of the big things there. Here's one of the things that was not positive that we see that needs to be cleaned up. This is a coverage bust here. Michael, I'll let you kind of take us through this, but really what you're kind of looking at here is Jeremy Bernard, who's the one that we talked about, was their consistent threat. He just is able to kind of find these holes in the zone here. And what happens is when you get Edwin Joseph, who kind of gets sucked into here, it just creates a pocket where Jeremy Bernard can come and sit down. And that's exactly kind of what he does here. And so you should never have a gap quite that big. And so he just finds the hole. Now you're kind of lucky here because the throw was already out, but if Ty Simpson turns around, you kind of get that one there too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is just a miscommunication thing. You can just tell he kind of gets a little bit confused on assignment at the line of scrimmage there. But this is a guy that doesn't have a ton of experience too, so
Right.
he's kind of new to the football field as well. But man, take us through what you saw on this play.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want you to stay on this footage here. I want you to go ahead and roll it because I'm gonna show you a couple of things. So he goes on the play action fake here. You have the receiver here coming out now. Jesse pointed out that he could have looked back here. Now roll it all the way to this part. He's not going to throw this ball here because what he'll have to do is he'll have to throw that across his chest. And they teach quarterbacks, do not throw across your chest. That's always going to be a bad thing. So now his next option is to really look at the tight end here. The tight end's covered up here by the lineman here, so he's not going to throw that. Edwin Joseph, however, who's out on the coverage right here, one to circle Edwin Joseph for me right here. Circle Edwin Joseph right there. He's focused on this tight end for some reason when he's not supposed to be. The lineman's with him, right? He's also got this other linebacker back here. Edwin Joseph should. I need you to roll it, pause it right here, and draw a line to that 35. See, that's where Edwin Joseph should be. Somewhere in this area right here, because now he's going to have to try to drop that ball between these two safeties. That's not going to be a throw he's going to want to make. The only other option he would have is this receiver right here that's running. You see this receiver, this one up here, up by the 40. Yep. Up by the 40 right here on the 40-yard line that's running. Yep, right there. That's his only other option. If Edwin Joseph's there, he's going to have to now throw across his body again, right? With you have that linebacker there. What will probably actually end up happening is Ty would probably have kept that ball and scrambled to about the 35, maybe the 40, maybe picking up the first down. But because Edwin Joseph has a misassignment here, what we call a bust coverage, Jeremy Bernard, who we said in the pre-show, who we said in the breakdown, that it's not going to be Ryan Williams that you're going to need to shut down. You're going to have to try to shut down Jeremy Bernard. He's going to be the guy who's going to be getting the bulk of the thing to try to take pressure off of Ryan Williams. Well, there you go. Like, I think this might have been the third play of the game. There he is, wide open on that because of that small little busted coverage.
Yeah, and I mean, he did get you for like 146, right?
Right.
But you also made the other two receivers a non-factor.
That's
and
true.
I almost wonder if maybe they gave, without watching all the film, if they almost gave a little more help to try and take those guys away. We'll let you dink and dunk. We're not going to let you hit a home run ball. But you're right, man. If Edwin were to drop out and sit on that 35, which is kind of about where you see Omar sitting over here down on the other side.
Yep.
If he sits right there, like you said, it at least makes Ty, you got him sitting right here. He has to dump this into a bucket on the other side. And even if you don't make the play, you have a better chance of affecting the throw than just jumping at it right here at the line of scrimmage. Because again, at this point, you're not doing anything for the tight end.
No, I don't know why you even jumping.
Right. And the defensive lineman has already busted off over here. So if Ty tries to run, he can just force him to the sideline. So yeah, that's one that's it's just a mistake. It's early. It's the first game. I'm sure they're going to get all that stuff cleaned up. And like we said, you just kind of see it here from the end zone view. Excuse me. This is the run play. This is the run play. So this is the one that you had picked out as something that went really good. So I'll let you talk us through this one. This was, again, man, this was one where you just kind of manhandled Alabama and made a big play. And I'll let you talk us through this, man. But I will say the guy you're going to talk about here, he had a great day. It's too early to say if this is like the Braden Fisk 2.0, but this looks more Braden Fisk-esque than Grady Kelly-esque for sure.
Now, is this Desir, right here that we're circling?
This is Deontay McCray.
Oh, Deontay McCray. Okay, so here's what's going to happen here. Number 8. So we're all in this great run fit now. Now Florida State is in that boss fit here. You're going to see Deontay McCray that's out in the whatever the technique is, 7, 8, 9. I can't remember. But what he's going to do is he's going to come to the inside shoulder of that tight end and force the tight end inside, which then disrupts the read. So the play is supposed to go that way. But because Deontay McCray is there, he's going to look to cut back. But look where everybody else is at, in their lanes, in their gaps. You didn't see this last year. They're pushing linemen back. I mean, butt cracks are showing because they don't have the power against these lines. And then McCray ends up making the play. Look at his paws. He gets his paws right on him because he was His first step, Jesse, go back real quick. I want you to watch his first step to that shoulder. Look at that. Boom. I mean, he's just there already. The tight end doesn't even know what to do. He turns that tight end. The tight end's ankles are breaking right now, and he just gets on number 4. He is one of the main reasons this play goes for a TFL, because he beats the tight end, he's there, and then everybody else does their job. Man, this was, when I saw this on the film review, I literally just went, okay, all right, Tony White, I'm a believer.
Yeah, because you were able, once you cross his face like this, because he's supposed to get a reach on you and push you out. And because you can tell 75's climbing, so he needs to push him out. 75's climbing to push him out. 56 reaches on him. So the play's supposed to go right there. But because you have such a powerful first step, like you talked about, and you cross his face, the hole, which is supposed to be here, is now immediately blocked off. So you got nowhere to go. So then he tries to cut it back, but it's too late. He's already got his hands on you. And then you already have the other 2 defensive tackles closing in. So there's nothing up the middle. You got guys coming off the backside to clean it up. And it's just a great play, man. I mean, you had penetration from multiple spots on the offensive line. I mean, the defensive line. And like I said, I think Deontay McCray had a really, really good day. I thought Daniel Lyons had a really good day on the defensive line as well. Darrell Jackson, he's a guy that when you play that nose tackle position, it's a very unsung position. You're eating a lot of double teams. You're just kind of making life easy for other guys. But I thought Deontay McCray, going back to the Braden Fisk thing, I thought it was very impressive what he was able to do, because I mean, he was just a disruptor. He was your second highest graded offense or defensive player on the day. And so, man, I mean, it was very big to see. Now, this next play here that I have for you, this is one that I put in here. This is just, again, to show the Earl Little effect, not only in the run game, but in the pass game as well. As you can see, as we roll it here, you have him playing that rover safety here in the middle. I'll draw a box around him. And so what it is Jeremy Bernard kind of gets over here. Looks like maybe he was going to bend that into a back corner, but the ball had already been released. So he just turns around and tries to box out Jabril Rawls. It was great coverage by Jabril Rawls. I mean, he's there. It looks like he kind of lost his footing a little bit early. I don't know that he catches that ball either way, but let's just, for good old-fashioned sake, let's just make sure he doesn't have that ball.
Exactly.
So what Earl Little does is he separates the defender from the ball. So there's no chance that he can make a catch. And, Michael, I saw an up-close still of this, and you can see Jeremy Bernard has his hands up and his eyes closed because he knows what's coming. He knows Earl Little's coming over to break this pass up. And so, man, I mean, it's just that is what you want out of that rover safety. You want just a dog who's running around, laying the wood, Goodman, just making plays all over the field. But again, it was not bad coverage by Jabril Rawls.
No.
But man, it's like the exclamation point just to make sure that ball doesn't get in there. And Earl Little just stones him at the point of attack.
I love it. Love it. Great play.
And so the next play here, this is going to be the play that Alabama scores on here. There was some things on here that, we could have done a little bit better. Michael, I'll point out a couple things and I'll toss it to you. I think your first thing here is Jason Jenkins. He bites on the run fake. Kind of takes himself out of the play. If he'd have seen that, you could have kept responsibility on Ty here. And then if we move a little bit forward, if you have that, these guys just needed to pass off just a little bit faster because you were late to the jump. And this is what we talk about, what we said earlier with Florida State's offensive defense, right? Is where if you make them think, you get one step. So see, he's just kind of thinking right now, oh, I got to get out here and get this tight end, but it's too late. He's already passed you.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Do we have the end zone view of this one?
Yep. I can roll to that real quick.
Because I just want to show you real quick I want to show you what Jesse's talking about here. Okay, so we're going to go on the run flake here. So first of all, we got deuces left. Okay, we had deuces right. So that's 2 tight ends to the right, 12 personnel. He's going to shift them to the left. So we got deuces left. He's going to run the fake here. The 97 here.
Jason Jenkins.
Jenkins. Okay, if he just stops right there, puts his foot in the ground, and stays with Ty. Now we're going to run that play here. Right. So we're going to stay with Ty. Here's what doesn't happen. So if he's with Ty doesn't have the running option. They pass off. This corner or safety takes that tight end away. Jason's with Ty. He's with that. There's nothing. This play goes for nothing. But because Jason Jenkins doesn't go, now you got basically 3-on-1. He can pass it or he can run it. If he doesn't pass it, he look at him. Look at that room. Draw that pathway there. Look at
I
it.
really don't know why he even threw the ball, to be
Exactly.
honest. I
He should have
really
just
don't know
ran it
why.
in. But that's what I'm saying. So really, if you go back to this play and you want to say, okay, what was the one thing? It was Jason Jenkins Reed. If he just stays a little bit out and then he stays with Ty, this is an incomplete pass. It's a tackle for loss. It's a throw out of the back of the end zone. It's something that's not a score. It's just the little things that they can just continue to get better in.
Yep, because if Jason Jenkins just settles down like right here,
Yep.
then Ty is probably going to kind of do one of these numbers where you run forward, then you got to stop and back up, and he's either looking to flip or throw it out of the back of the end zone. Now, you also get an illegal pick play right here too.
Thank you. Yep.
Which
they missed that.
They missed that. They didn't call that, so that could have been called as well. But again, man, it's little things, right, that can be easily communicated by the defense, can be picked up and corrected, and that's what you have the next 3 weeks for. So moving on here, this is, man, I told you guys the other day on the last episode that I did that I almost cried tears of joy watching the linebacker play. Look, man, there's not a whole lot to say on this. Just watch Juice Crier come in here and just fill this gap and just bam. I mean, he reads it. And the thing is, like, they're isolating him. They're putting him one-on-one against that linebacker. But how many times do you see them miss the play?
Yep.
And so just a great job of recognizing, reacting, filling the hole, and making a good open field tackle. And even if he bounces off the tackle here, you already got the defensive end who's ready to back him up, and Elijah Herring who's coming across as well. So this, Michael, all this was for me was just, man, watching these linebackers play. It allowed you to put some guys on the field that maybe you wouldn't have had on the field from a different perspective. We'll see some of that later on. But the linebacker play was – it was where it should have been. It's where we've wanted it to be.
Absolutely.
So the next one here, man, we'll have more linebacker play coming up too. So Michael, look, we have, for one game anyway, it appears we have a dude in Mandrell Desir, and his brother is not bad too. But Mandrell had a breakout game by all intents and purposes. I looked it up the other day. He had, for a freshman defensive lineman in week 1 per PFF, he was tied for the second most tackles, stops, and pressures. Oof. And he was doing it against Alabama. Oof. A lot of the other teams were doing it against G5. Okay. I think one of them was like SMU playing East Texas A&M. So just watch him here. He's lined up at the defensive end position here, away from the play side. And what's so impressive here, man, is just watch him run this play down. Bama's going to give the running back the ball. He's going to go that way. They leave him unblocked because they don't think he's going to be able to run down the end of the line and catch him. And then just watch, because he goes here, and just watch him run this play down. Yeah. I mean, that is a true freshman. Diagnose kind of that side step, shuffle step a little bit, make sure he doesn't cut back, and you know, because you still got to do backside protection. Once he's committed that way, boom. I mean, you run him down and you make a good tackle, man. That's an unbelievably beautiful play from a freshman. Now, another one we have here that was a little bit of a coverage bust, kind of some things that we talked about earlier that need to be cleaned up. I'll roll it through, kind of show you what we're looking at, and then I'll let Michael talk us through it here. Again, Jeremy Bernard, the one that kind of tore you up all game. He's really good at finding those holes in the zone and just kind of settling down. And so really what you have here, you're playing some soft coverage, so you're giving them room, but then you don't make this switch fast enough, right? And so he's able to just kind of settle down here while you're kind of got two guys watching him. So you just need to be able to pass these guys off a little bit faster and not let him settle down. Now, luckily, you had some guys come in and clean it up, but then you also missed the tackle there a little bit. But these are the things that need to be cleaned up. It's little things. It's communication errors more than anything. But, Michael, I'll let you talk us through this play.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Jesse. So now pause it right here. Now, in your film study, I would imagine, both you and I, Jesse, play football. So I would imagine in your film study, you probably saw this formation at some point in time in your film study, right? And you probably, your DB coach probably says, hey, when they run this, they're going to run a receiver inside, right, to the hash, and then they're going to run a receiver to the flat, okay? Right? Usually this is called, I think it's called spacing, or
it's typically, I will say they typically do this closer to the line. This is almost like a little bit more downfield, what they call switch release.
That's
a little bit. And so it's meant to do exactly what it did, right? It is meant to get the defenders in conflict where they don't know who's taking who, and then you just create space underneath. So it did what it was designed to do, but it was also Florida State didn't really pass the guys off
Correct.
fast enough.
Correct. And so what? So this switch release here. So what I would have the thing that needs to get better if you go back to the beginning of the play is if you recognize this, these two they have to communicate. Okay, what they're gonna say is, hey. You're the inside man on the field side. This bottom safety here. You're gonna take anything in this. Pause it right there. Go back to the beginning of the play and draw a circle in that big old area right here. This little area right here. You're going to take anything. This bottom safety here is going to take anything here. And then this top safety is going to take anything behind him. Okay. Right. That's how it's going to look. So now roll the play slowly. What should happen is, boom, instead of him turning his hips this way, this bottom safety should be ready to go to drive on this ball right here. Yep. To drive right there as he's coming. And this guy's going to just bail out to take this guy. Right. Now, they kind of try to communicate that, but it's too late when they communicate because this bottom safety is still watching this top guy. So I actually think, Jesse, this top safety here had it right, and this bottom safety was the corner had it wrong. He should have been driving on this ball right here to get to that defender so that guy it makes a catch, but not for a lot of yards, or he's coming to pick that ball right there.
Jump the route. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, if you're playing zone here, and it's kind of hard to tell because they don't really have a lot of other guys going out on a route.
Right.
But if you're playing zone here, you should never have two guys this close together.
Nope.
You need more spacing than that. If this is man, then it was just kind of a communication error. So again, these are things that can definitely be cleaned up. It hurt you in this game a little bit, but you ended up winning. But it's just the little things,
right.
And this is why Tony White sounded like you lost by 30 points.
Yeah.
Because he knows there's a lot of things to clean up. This one is another Desir highlight play where I just want to show, man, this kid is gonna be really, really good for a freshman who was kind of under recruited too. I mean, he was, I think, a 3-star coming in.
Yep.
But here, just watch what he does to this offensive guard here. Now, he doesn't make the play, but he affects the play. This is a quarterback hurry. But, I mean, let me just play this in full time and just watch how he gets around this guard.
Look at this. Look at
First off, you just punch him in the face.
Violent hands. Violent hands.
Exactly. Just bat.
Ooh,
and then you get your little rip.
And then he gets skinny. Yep. Gets skinny, gets through.
And you just blow right past him. And again, you didn't get him, but you affected the play because he only took off because of your pressure. And then your guys are able to come in and clean it up. But, man, I mean, we already talked about this. Like, for a freshman, him just being able to kind of lay waste, I think that's Vandemark there, Gino.
Yep.
Vandemark, I mean, you are just kind of just running right past him. And for a freshman, man, it's just you see the upside of what he can do.
Really quick, can we go back to that? Because I just want to show you something else. I mean, yes, Desir was great. Now, number 13 here, who is that? Who's 13? I'm looking on my chart here.
The Diamante Diggs.
Diamante Diggs. Okay, Diamante's gonna take the tight end out. Okay, boom, knock him out. Then he's gonna take the 5 technique into the tackle here, and watch him just come across his face right here. Boom, right? Just right into Ty Simpson's face. So Desir does his job of making Ty step up in the pocket to run, and right there to meet him is number 13. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, the communication of this line, like, we didn't see this last year. This is so good.
Yeah, I will say on offense and defense, for a team that's never played it together, they did a really, really good job.
Right.
Of doing that. Now, this one, Michael, this is just a kind of a run-of-the-mill play here. I just really kind of wanted to show you what's most impressive here. I mean, yeah, okay, you're getting some stops and you make it a negative play. I mean, you can see Daryl Jackson in here is able to keep the offensive lineman there. He kind of eats that double team, but keeps his play side arm free and is able to grab him. But really what I want you to see more than anything, and Earl Little, of course, has always got his nose in the play. But, man, just look. Without really trying to count, I would be willing to bet there's 10 or 11 guys in Garnet right there. What we talked about, man, is sometimes it's not about necessarily whether the play was big or bad or something happened like that. It's about what you're getting from your players if you're Tony White's defense. And that was really, really impressive. Now, here's another one from Mandel Desir. Golly, man, this kid, again, I was so impressed. I think there was a lot of good players on defense, right? But I think, man, he really, really stood out. So watch it. They're going to run a little bit of a stunt here on the defensive line. And he just kind of gets that juke step and he just bends it around. And, man, but just watch the pursuit that he has here. He sees Ty, follows him, runs him down, makes a great open field tackle to get a TFL, man. it's just next level stuff from a freshman.
Yeah.
And that to me, that was one of the just really, really impressive stuff from a freshman defensive lineman. Michael, we talked about this in the one that we recorded that we didn't end up actually using. The only reason I put this in here is because James Williams just bullied the quarterback. And I love seeing this. Like, this made my little heart smile when I saw this on film, because this is just that nasty streak that you
Yep.
want your defense to play with. Like, it's not a sack. It's not, he honestly probably should have been flagged for this. I'm surprised that he wasn't. But this is one where you make them feel your presence. Watch James Williams, and he's not really going to affect the play, but it's after the pass is gone. Just watch what he just, I mean, eats Ty Simpson's lunch. Doom. That is just
Please.
that's just a mean streak you want to see on your defense. And I
Yeah.
mean, maybe the overthrow happens because he feels the pressure coming,
Oof.
but just
Gosh.
Michael,
Oof.
that makes
Gosh. Oof.
when your chest is going that way and your head is going that way,
Oh, that's
it
a thing
just,
of beauty.
But the thing is too, we talked about it, right? You saw Ty Simpson and kind of saw ghosts in this game where
Yep.
he was making some throws or making some rushing some throws, rushing some things that maybe he didn't want to because of things like that. When you're wearing pressure, you're wearing hits like that. It's just that's kind of the things that come along with it. Now, this next one here is another little bit of a coverage bust here. This is something, again, that has to be cleaned up. And again, who eats you up for this?
German Bernard.
It's Jeremy Bernard again. And so, Michael, I will throw it to you and let you talk this one up. But again, this is just kind of clearly a mistake where you have two guys right here, two guys right here. He's obviously looking that way and he's looking that way. So they're both covering him. They're both on him, and nobody
Nobody's
runs with
there.
him. That's the
Yeah.
problem. You needed to have one of these guys bail out. And it just didn't happen. But again, it's more of a communication error. So take us through this play.
Yeah, yeah. Who I can't tell who's that right there at the top of the screen. Is that 20? Is that Blake
It,
Nicholson right there?
it's it is hard to tell with
Yeah,
some of
it's hard
these.
to tell. But anyways, here's what happens here. Okay. This is the same thing we just talked about with the switch. Okay. So you're going to have these two receivers, they kind of stack themselves up. One's running deep, one's running. You can tell already, like, just go back a little bit. You can tell already he's slowing down. He is going to run an out
Yeah.
route. Look at him, look at his body. He's already turning. One of these safeties here or corner, this guy probably at the top of the screen should have either that or this other Ashland Barker should have drove on that switch out. Look at that switch out right there. One of them should drive to that ball there. So this is actually not on the lower linebacker. This is on these two up here. Somebody was supposed to have that zone right there on the 50. Somebody's supposed to be right there waiting for that out route to come to take it away. And I would also maybe say that with these two over here, these two linebackers, one of them should have been around the 40. If this is a zone play,
Yep.
one of them should have been around the 40. Somebody should have been on the 50, would have made it a more difficult throw to have. And this is just communication or understanding of play. This was just a busted coverage right here.
Yeah, if you pull this linebacker back here and he settles down, you're in the passing lane, so you're going to
Yep.
make it a little bit tougher here. But like you said, obviously he's already flipped his hips and he's
Yep.
running.
He's
So
running.
he's probably in man at this
Yep.
point
And
because
so then
he's not even looking at the quarterback. You can see his eyes are
Yep.
watching the receiver.
Yep.
So you can tell he's in man. So that means
Ashland.
Barker
Yep.
probably had him in man.
That's right.
And should not have turned and run. He should have noticed that, because you're also deeper than him. So you could see that he had this shell, this cushion, and you should have fired down on him. And again, that's things that have to get cleaned up, because this is kind of ate you up. And I will say this from Bama's perspective, just like we talked about with Gus Malzahn, they probably saw earlier in the day where they kind of run this little bit of switch.
Yep.
And you kind of lost it in coverage. And so they just came back to the same play. He sets down and he makes a big play. And then you can see, because you're so far out of place,
look at this.
Now you give up a lot of yards after catch. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just the little things that got to be cleaned up. But again, if two podcasters are finding it on, if a paramedic and a pastor are finding this on film, I guarantee you that Tony White,
I guarantee you,
and those guys are finding this on film too. So it's just, again, it's the little things. Now this is a run fit by Blake Nicholson here, man. I thought Blake had a really good game, which is something we've been waiting on to see from Blake. So, man, he just fires in here,
look at it,
boom, and just diagnoses. And this is the play that I was telling you about, Michael, and we're almost done with the defense here. But look, you have Daryl Desir, you have KJ Sampson, you have Mandrell Desir over here, and you have Omar Graham, linebacker. So you got
Come
some
on,
veterans out here, but you freshman,
freshman.
kind of a third-ish stringer right here.
Yep.
So you're running against Alabama at probably a semi-critical point in the game.
Yep.
You're running basically your third string defensive line, but because they're able to hold up their end of the deal and your linebacker play is so good, because you see Elijah Herring already forces him to kind of kick it. Blake's already there, and you have a guy coming off the edge here. That's
Yep.
Q. I mean, the linebacker play allows you to play with defensive linemen that maybe aren't your top tier guys all the time because they can clean things up.
Can I just show you something really just tricky by Tony White here? Now I want you to run this slow-mo because I want you to watch this play. This 17 here, he's got to, or I'm sorry, whoever that is, 13 on the jet motion here. He's got to make a decision. You got Blake coming here, who's going to run into that B gap, okay? Right? Or he's got to take this corner coming off the end here. And so he has to choose. So Tony put him in conflict, right? Either one's going to make this tackle on the running back there. And I just love like that, just the geniusness of thinking about the jet guy on an inside zone run. I'm going to put him in conflict to make him decide who he's going to block because my other guy is getting to the running back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again, it's having all your bases covered,
Right.
kind of knowing what they're going to do before they do it, and we saw a lot of good examples of that. And so now this next one here, this is just man, this is another play by Desir, real quick, that is just very impressive. Right, he's right here, lined up right between the center and the guard, and so I want to keep in mind this guy right here, Parker Brailsford, is an all SEC center, so he's one of the best you're going to see on the season. Desir engages, strong hands, keeps that play side hand out here free, just kind of clubbing him to keep him free from getting grips on him. Reads it. His eyes are in the backfield the whole time, kind of watching this play develop. As soon as he sees the handoff, he jumps out and makes the tackle. Man, that is senior level stuff from a freshman against an all SEC center.
Yep,
So, I mean, again, one of the best defensive lines that you're going to face. So, I mean, just really, really impressive stuff from him there. Michael, this is another one that I talked about with just making your presence felt on the quarterback position. So when you just watch Ty. I mean, he just like, gotta get rid of it. And then just gets ate alive. Right. And so then not only do you just basically make him not have a fun time right now, you also turn this almost a tip drill because you affected the pass with your pressure. Bam, that could have easily been a pick. And if you bend that back, you're gone for 6. But I mean, again, it's just about the pressure you were able to get on this against this Alabama front. Now you brought some guys, right? It looks like you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like you brought 6. So you brought it, but I mean, they still had here. It was 5 on 6. So you only brought one extra guy, and he gets hit by about 3 FSU guys.
Yeah. Like, so here's the thing with this blitz here, Tony White is expecting that if the blitz doesn't get home, somebody's going to make a catch. This guy's the most open. He's probably the hot route right here. Either that or the running back here is the hot route. One of them. But he sees him open. He's not even looking for the ball. Look at him. He turns around, but he's not even prepared. That ball comes out so hot because Ty Sims is about to get choke slam over here. And so then the ball he just gets one hand out. Now, I mean, that might be a culture issue right there. I think that's Ryan Williams too, if that's number 2. Yep. He just puts a hand out. He don't want to get his nail polish dirty. So he just puts his hand pile out and that ball just rolls off. That could have been an interception right there. My goodness.
He went from carrying a T-Rex doll in to having T-Rex arms in the game. And this one, man, again, you talked about Diamante Diggs earlier and the play that he had just kind of staying in the fight. And this is a play that I put in here because this is just impressive stuff from a culture standpoint. Like you said, man, just the effort. So Diggs is all the way over here, kind of on the backside of where the play is going to go, which is going to go all the way this way. And it's going to stretch almost to the sideline. So as we roll it forward, he's locked up with Caden Proctor here. Not really a whole lot going on. Ty's going to take off this way. But look, you throw Caden Proctor off of you, which is already a grown man move. And so you throw him off, but look at how far Ty. I'm just going to roll it. Look how far Ty Simpson comes. Watch him coming. Boom, and he misses, but he stays in the fight, man. Just the pursuit, the effort that these guys give on
Yep.
defense is just so impressive. That a guy who, for all intents and purposes, is out of the play by now. I mean, his defensive end chasing the quarterback all the way to the other sideline, stays in it and still affects the play and just about makes the tackle, man. So that's big. And 2 plays left here to talk about on the defense, man. This is another one where I think one of the most impressive things I saw from them is just smart football, right?
Yeah.
This is just smart football. And the guy we're watching here is Blake Nicholson right here coming off the edge. So he's going to come in and he knows because he's hot. They're not protected. So Ty's got to get rid of it. But
Oof.
I'm not going to get there. Let
Right.
me get my hands up and affect the play any way that I can.
Right.
And then when you go to the end zone view here, obviously you can see that he comes off the edge. He knows he's not going to be able to get there in time, but he just gets his hands up, bats the pass down, and makes sure the play never even happens. It's smart football. And there was a lot of times on the defensive line where you go back and you watch and they got their hands up. They're blocking passing lanes. Man, that's the type of stuff that we just did not see last year. You just saw so many smart plays from the defense. And the last one here, Michael, we'll kind of share on this one. But again, this is the linebacker play, man. This is just beautiful stuff. Watch Juice Cryer here right in the middle. He's just going to read, react, get in the hole. And if he doesn't, that's a good block. That's a good block. You're coming from depth. That's at least probably a 10-yard play. But because you read, react, you get in the hole. Elijah Herring's just having a good time over here jumping around stuff. But and once you get a hold of him, you make a good open field tackle.
Yep.
That right there is a characteristic of a good, hard playing defense. And so, man, that kind of wraps the defense up. But, you know, Michael, just talking about it here as we get ready to kind of close this episode out, man, it was just a really impressive game by both the offense and the defense. I thought both coordinators did really good. And, you know, what we talked about was that most of the things we went through today was, one, you just out physical people. You just beat them physically.
That's right.
Or if you made a mistake, it's first game communication issues, guys who have never played next to each other. A lot of that stuff can get cleaned up. And man, I thought this was all in all, I thought this was a great showing by the team. And I think when you really watch the film, it makes you even more excited for what this team can be once they clean all that stuff up.
Absolutely. Listen, in coaching, they say either you win or you learn, right? Either you win or you learn. But the best coaches, they love learning as they win. And
they won and learned.
They won and learned. And what this film showed was, man, Florida State did some incredible things, right? But if you're looking at a pie chart of how great it was and how much more they can grow, that was maybe 15% of the pie. Like there's so many areas, and there are other plays that we didn't even look at that where you might see a good thing and then you might see a learning thing. Man, there's so much more meat on, as you like to say, meat on the bones of this season, of this team, of this defense, offense, special teams that it can be. And so to be able to watch the film and actually see it for yourself, now you and we can actually make judgment calls with our own eyes, even though we don't know all the plays. We can see effort, we can see energy, we can see communication, you can see all of that, right? And I walked away even more impressed by that Bama win. That Bama didn't quit. Florida State made them quit. How well they played, and there's still so much more for them to get better in.
Yeah, I mean, you beat them to sleep. You know, we talked about, like, if it was a boxing match, you wanted to get this to the 12th round, but you got an early knockout and you won, and you know, you got fat on elephant meat, but like you said, man, there's still some meat on that bone, and so this team can get better. And I talked about this on the last episode, where you just have that mentality that good is not good enough. So they know they have a lot of areas to get better. Now you have 3 weeks to really do that. And then you can go put it on tape again against UVA, Miami, and a lot of the down the kind of the stretch of your schedule. But man, it's good stuff when we watch it. Again, that wasn't everything. That was some plays we had picked out, but we wanted to really go through and dig into it. So I don't know about you, Michael, but I really enjoyed this. I love this. Is something we've wanted to do on the channel for a long time. We've just never really kind of had the time to sit down and figure it out. So we're going to get better as we go with these film episodes. Again, if you guys enjoyed it, let us know, and we'll keep rolling these out for you guys. But man, just good stuff in week one. We got a game tomorrow, depending on when you watch this, against East Texas A&M. So if you're there, be loud, be proud, make a lot of noise, and let's see if we can get win number 2 on the season. But go ahead.
What I was gonna say was, hey, we have the East Texas A&M game. Jesse did a great kind of overview from the Bama game and a little bit of the East Texas A&M. Make sure you go watch that episode. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on the podcast there. Make sure you catch that because it was really good insight from Bama. A little bit of East Texas A&M before you show up there. If you're gonna be in Doak Campbell Stadium this Sunday or Saturday tomorrow, I'll be there with my son. I'd love to meet you. Love to say hi, get pictures with you. We love our PTS family. It was a blast hanging out with you guys at the Bama game. Would love to see you this weekend as well too.
Definitely, man. I appreciate that, and I'm running way late on the East Texas A&M written preview, but I will try to get that up on the website today or tomorrow before kickoff. But guys, we appreciate it. If you enjoy this, drop a like and subscribe to stay connected with your source for fan-driven FSU content. Look, we do this because we love it, and we do it because you guys are part of the community that keep us going. So drop that like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Rate and review on the podcast helps us reach other Nole fans. Also, you can become a member of the PTS tribe and help support what we do to have all this fancy gadgets and things that we're trying to elevate what we do here at Plant the Spear. I want to give a shout out to my friend's mom that I've known from childhood, Miss Lisa. She just joined the channel as well. So shout out to you. It's funny. He told me, he's like, man, since she found out, because she's a Florida State fan anyway, he's like, since she found out you had a podcast, she never misses an episode. So shout out to you, Miss Lisa. Thank you for joining the channel as a tribe member there as well. So guys, can't say thank you enough for hanging out with us for this about a almost 2-hour long episode. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we really did ourselves. So man, we'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully that is a 2-0 post-game show tomorrow after East Texas A&M. So we'll catch you on that one. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and go Noles.